Hey guys, it's Joel from guntoter.org, and I wanted to make a quick video about some of the measurements on the Spiritus Systems Microfight chest rig. I know that sounds like a really boring reason to make a video, but one of the big questions I get on the channel is questions of whether a particular hook and loop insert will work with the Spiritus. Obviously, I haven't gotten to all of them yet, so I wanted to make this video about measurements because this can help you kind of figure out whether or not it'll fit like at all. For example, one of the videos I did earlier was about whether the Tactical Tailor low-vis pouches will fit. They will fit, but because they're so wide, they take up a lot of space. Well, if you look on Tactical Tailor's website, they give the dimensions of the hook backer. So you look at the dimensions of the hook backer, you look at the available dimensions in the Spiritus, and you can kind of figure out if it's going to work or not. And I'll give you another example here in a minute once we talk about some of the measurements. So if you go on Spiritus's website, you can actually look at the Microfight page. They give you 9 by 5 by 1. Now, that is the main pouch. They don't give you the size of the front pouch. And that is kind of, that's kind of a perfect measurement. As in, if I laid this thing down and measured the back of it, that's about what I would get. And the reason that's an issue is because once you add the sewing and then you start stuffing this full of things, you are not necessarily going to get 9 inches of fully usable loop back here. Now, my measurements with the S-Tac Kiwis inside actually come out to about 8.5 to 8.75. So when you're looking at, what can I stack side by side, whatever you try to put in here, you've only got about 8.5 to 8.75 inches to work with. Now, I can say that the 5-inch measurement for the height is actually pretty accurate. And that comes in handy because the tall S-Tac Kiwis happen to be 5 inches. So if you go on S-Tac's site on the 5.56 Kiwis, the tall are 5, the mid are 4, and the short are 3. So the reason I bring that up is because if you look at the front pouch does not have a 5-inch depth. It's actually closer to probably like 4.25, 4.5. So in the front, if you use the tall Kiwis, you're going to get the Kiwis sticking out the top. Is that really an issue? Not really, but if you don't want that, you may have to go with the mids, for example, and you might get a little bit more of a flush fit. So I will say that the dimensions on the front, as far as the width and the depth, are pretty accurate. It ends up being about the same as the back, so 8.5 to 8.75, and it's about 1 inch deep. So main pouch, my measurements, width is 8.5 to 8.75, height is 5, depth is 1. On the front pouch, width is 8.5 to 8.75, height is 4.25 to 4.5, and then the depth is 1 inch. And once again, the reason I bring that up, like I talked about the Tactical Tailor, someone asked me if, for example, the pouches designed for the Dapper, the blue 4-scale pouches designed for the Dapper would work in a Spiritus. And I can tell you probably not. Now, disclaimer, I've never actually tried it. But, for example, if you look at the 5.56 mag pouches, they have a 6-inch height. It's a 5-inch pouch. Chances of the Dappers working in here, not real good, at least the rifle mags. Now, pistol mags might work. They are shorter, so maybe not as big of an issue, but rifle pouches are probably not going to work. So the other Dapper accessories might work, such as just the loops, but then again, unless you already have them, if you're just going to use a Velcro loop, you might as well just buy the Spiritus ones, assuming you can find them in stock. So, that's kind of a example there of why the actual measurements of the interiors of the pouches matter when we're coming up with, hey, what fits, what doesn't fit, and so on. So Some people asked about RDR Gear's version of the Microfight. I do have an RDR coming, and I will do a review on that as soon as it gets here. I'm hoping it gets here sometime in the next 2 weeks. But for now, that is kind of the interior measurements on this. I've had a couple people ask about, what can I use for an AK as far as Kiwis or the Haleys. I do intend to get some of the 5.56 Haleys and some of the 7.62 Haleys to test in the Spiritus. I also intend to get some of the 7.62 Kiwis to test in the Spiritus. But I can tell you that just looking at the measurements, if you were to try to use a 7.62 Kiwi for an AK, because you are not going to be able to use a 7.62 AK mag in one of these 5.56 Kiwis. It's not going to work. I've tried it. It's just not going to work out for you. The tab in the back is going to cause issues. But the 7.62 ones, I've heard some people say that they might work. The problem that you might run into is obviously they're going to be wider than the 5.56 Kiwis. So you're only probably going to be able to fit 2 in the back or front, no matter where you put them. They're also, the tall 7.62s are only 4 inches. Well, in the 5-inch pouch, that means you may end up getting a fabric lip on there. If you shove it all the way in, you're going to have a fabric lip. Now, I don't think that'll be a big deal with as rigid as the Kiwis are. Like I said, I intend to try it. It's just a matter of, budgets and shipping times and getting stuff here while I'm still in this hotel. But that's something to think about. It sounds like you can use them, but you are going to probably have about an inch of fabric lip once you insert it in here, unless you figure out a way to kind of short insert it. So there's some thoughts. Kind of give you a quick way to evaluate if the pouch you're looking at on the internet is going to work in the Microfight. If it doesn't fit within those measurements, you can pretty much rule it out right away. If it does fit within the measurements and you're just wondering how well it's going to work, you're going to have to go with experience on that one. If you want to shoot me an email or a comment and say, hey, could you try this particular type of pouch in the Microfight, budget allowing, budget and time allowing, I will be more than happy to do that, because the Microfight seems to be a really big topic. It's kind of the new hotness in modular placards, and people have a lot of questions about how they can outfit them and how they can rig them. So I'm going to try to do some more videos on that. But hope this was useful for you. If it was, go down, corner, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, alerts, notifications, just click buttons, all the ones except the report one. If you have questions, if you have a piece of gear that you would like tried out with this, feel free, hit up the comments, hit me up at my email address. You can also hit me up on Facebook, Google Hangouts, any number of other ways. If you like what we're doing here and you would consider supporting us monetarily, we do have a Patreon page, and that's going to be down in the comments below. If you can't support us monetarily, I completely understand. Times continue to be tight, as they have been for the last few months, but I do appreciate likes and shares, because that's a huge deal in the social media world. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.